fun, guys.
Thanks, man. And we're live! Welcome to the Patreon Town Hall for 2018 April, my birthday month. I'm losing my voice a little bit. Had a birthday shindig yesterday, I'm feeling like I'm losing my voice a little bit. But anyway, here we are. I'm not sure if anyone's here yet, and that's okay. I have a plan for if nobody shows up, just to make a video that anybody can enjoy. But if you do arrive, let me know in the chat that you're there. And you can always leave a comment, and I love feedback. I am dying to make this as awesome as it can be, so if there's anything that you see room for improvement in, just let me know. I am just hanging out with John and his buddy. We just moved. This is a new apartment, which you've probably seen in other videos. But yeah, some of the power outlets haven't been working. I've been lucky down here in the basement. Oh my God, Neris H, welcome. It's so great that you can be here. It's great to see you. I'm kind of losing my voice. You might have missed. But Shelly C. Perrin, man, it's so great to see you guys here. Neris, Shelly, good morning. So, as I was saying, I'm super excited for today. I am going to show you the new space. It's like basically done, aside from a huge mess that I have to clean up. And then I'm going to show you how I've been thinking about the shows that I'm working on and focused on right now, including Self-Care Sunday and Focused AF. I am curious. Oh, wonderful. Welcome. Hi. I am curious if you think I'm in focus, if it looks good on the camera. This is a different setup than I've ever done, and I'm like incredibly excited about it. Leslie C., hello, welcome. If anybody wants to jump on a phone call, like a video chat, we're going to be ending today with that if you're interested, and no pressure. If you're not, just like type in the chat and we'll hook it up. Oh, I got that, John. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll
Oh, amazing. Thanks.
I'll close the door.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good
I'll
one.
make arrangement and come and take
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. John is our like savior around here. He basically makes sure our house works. And so yeah, without further ado, let me take you on a little tour. How about that? Okay, so got this rigged up. Aha! Hi. Really? After all that, is it going to come back? Yes. Wait. Yes. Thank God. Hi there. Yeah, this is my new apartment. Welcome. It's so lovely to have you here. So this is where I'm streaming these days. Isn't this an upgrade? Oh wow, sorry, my volume's probably way too loud. 1 second. I will spare you my loudness. So I got this table has a story. It is from my old office. I used to work at a startup called 1 Month, and they gave me a budget to build a huge studio that is not unlike this room. But this part was, I'm obsessed, or was obsessed at a certain point with this one YouTube channel, this creator, Casey Neistat. He is really innovative and thoughtful and creative, and has this like top-down table. So I built this. You can like mount a camera right there, like on this panel. I don't know if you can see that like little like Zacuto mount thing. So that is like a release plate that I can put all my cameras on. All the cameras, like the one that I'm holding. But I've always wanted to set this up. This is something I've been working on since the very first Self-Care Sunday. It's a teleprompter, and I'm incredibly excited about it. Second, I'm going to lower the brightness a little bit. So the thing here is I have this like little monitor attached to this camera. So like there's a camera back there under the hood that's exactly like this camera, that is then split into one of these boxes that streams into the computer, and then the other one goes to this screen, and which then is projected onto this teleprompter thing that I built. I got this like laser cut and like made a little Oreo of teleprompter glass, which basically just like lets a camera shoot through it, but also be reflective. But yeah, anyway, I hope this is clear. But yeah, the point here is if I have like a Skype call or a Zoom call, I can actually look the person in the eyes, and it'll look to them like I'm looking them in the eyes, but I'm really looking into the camera, but I'm also looking in the eyes. It's really, a dream come true. And it also makes it easier when I'm talking to the camera to not just like be disconnected, because I'm at least talking to myself, which makes me feel a little bit more like I'm Doug Eiffel in real life. I don't know why, but yeah. So that's that. Super stoked about that. I'm going to build another one of these and make it a lot less janky. It is incredibly janky, but that's a little bit my aesthetic these days. So the goal here, the reason why I went to the trouble of setting this whole thing up is so that it's just easy to go live. Because as you know, there's always technical difficulties. Tiffy, geez, she tries to like live in that thing. Oh, Tiffy, how are you, babe? Aw. Oof. Ugh. Tiffy, you sneezy cat. Ugh. But yeah, I don't even know where we are anymore, but let's just play with Tiffy instead. How is everybody? Let me know in the chat how you're doing. Patrick Pearson, welcome. Sarah Lapointe, please tell me if I'm fucking up your name. But yeah, I really love it in this new apartment. The purpose of moving was a combination of getting to move in with my friend Jonathan Lung, who lives upstairs. He is an incredible human being. He's not home right now, or I would have him down here to meet you all. He started the Learner's House, which I've talked about a couple times, I think. And now we live together permanently, or, you know, for the time being at least, and it's fucking awesome. So that's one reason. The other reason is I'm paying a ton less rent here for a lot more space. That's what happens when you add more roommates. And then last but not least, to use that space to create a space to be creative without, how do I put this? Without killing myself. I think I had a really awesome creative streak when I was working at 1 Month, the startup that I was at. But I just like having to reset up the camera and the lights and the backdrop every week while writing and also working my full-time job and also doing Wolf. It just like I think I had a dream when I was working at 1 Month that I would have a space customized for what I want to create and always ready to go. So that there's never like, oh, I have an idea and then I have to set up to do the idea. I just do the idea. And so that's what this crazy rig is about. That's why I had Trevor help me put all of these things up. so that it sounds good in here. And yeah. This little monster. Oh, you're so cute, Tiffy. You're so cute. You're so cute. Oh, sorry, getting the cable in your face. I don't want to do that, Tiffy. Aw. I love how much you guys love Tiffy. It makes me very happy. Oh. So, yeah, I'll give you the rest of the tour in a minute. But, I think, long story short, I'm really happy in my new apartment. Isn't that right, Tiffy? She's very cute. She's very gross these days. She has, like, boogers all the time. But I love you with your boogers. She makes me really happy. Mwah. All right, Tiff. We're going to do the rest of the tour. So yeah, I definitely treated myself for my birthday to a new desk. Whoops. Really? Huh, interesting. The screen on my camera keeps going out. And I'm like, what? So yeah, this is another thing that I had at 1 month that I've always wanted to have in my own home, which is a standing desk. If you can see, it's like moving. And I just think it's really important when you're like living as editing and working at a computer that you be moving. And I've been guilty of not moving enough. I think my proudest hack on this is I got this like plumbing pipe and added these shelves so that my hard drives can live there and the power can live on the other side. And I think it just gives it a cool look, and it gives it a lot more space on top. I'm thinking about putting a bed here so Tiffy can just like sleep on the desk while I work. So yeah, I'm like trying out this light from B&H. I can still return it. Eventually, this won't be a pile of garbage. It is supposed to be a workbench, which is basically like just a place to build stuff. I'm incredibly excited about getting to use my grandfather's old slide drawers. So these things belong to my grandma's second husband, Baba John. And Baba John used to be an art lecturer. So before Google image search was a thing, you had like these situations. What is this? Is this working? I don't know. The point is, there's a photo. There's like a picture painting or something. It's like art. And so he would just have like thousands of slides for whenever he wanted to do a lecture. He would just like look at the image in a slide projector. So I didn't keep much of the slides because I don't have the projector and I have no use for them. But these drawers are like a great way to keep things organized. So I've got like different screw bits and different electrical things, and I'm generally just amped about building stuff here. I've got some ideas for how to hack this keyboard thing. I don't know if you guys remember this. It's like a typewriter that I built that lets you use. This is my roommate John's keyboard. He's the one who introduced me to this thing in the first place. This is mine that I've like modified with a screen and a power supply and a computer inside, a Raspberry Pi. Is that? Yeah, the Alpha Smarter. So yeah, so I have some ideas for how to improve that. And then let's finish up the tour, why not? and we can go play with Tiffy. This is my bedroom. Welcome. I'm really excited to have a bed frame and a mattress. My old one was really, really old, and my parents just got me a birthday present, which is a new mattress, and it's not a Casper because they wouldn't send me one for free. Yes, I asked. This is the pipe that I got to hang my clothes in the last apartment, and these are the holes that I made trying to put it up. I really need to spackle them. It's pretty embarrassing and bad. Yeah, that's the tour. Oh yeah, then I have a giant calendar, which has the whole year, and I've gone and put all the Focused AF and Self-Care Sunday days on because I am committed to being more reliable this year. All right. Tiffy Cam, Tiffy Cam, Tiffy Cam. It's a cam for Tiffy. Tiffy Cam, Tiffy Cam. It's a cam for Tiffy. I want to do more singing. I'm pretty bad, but also my voice is fucked up right now, so I'm even worse. So yeah, one second. Now I'm back in the chat. I'm catching up on things. My family says it wrong, though, that this cat gives me life. Huh. Bless you. Oh, one sec. Now you're just looking at my feet, and that's no good. Welcome back. I'm just catching up on the chat. Ba, 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 ba. Huh. La Pointe. La Pointe. La Pointe. La Pointe. Sarah, that's a cool story. I love just family histories. So interesting. Okay, let's see. Patrick Pearson, the smoke detector back in place. That smoke detector is from another apartment. I believe in smoke detectors. I use smoke detectors. They're important, especially when you mess around with power tools as much as I do. Get some crazy pronunciation of my last name for similar reasons. No one can pronounce it here. Nice. Eventually this won't be a pile of... Naris. Lol. Oh, Rena, that's amazing. That's so cool that you're getting them digitized. If they were family photos, I would have. Oh, one second. Tiffy's back. Sort of. Tiffy, lie down. Lie down. Oh. Oh, she's so cute. Holly, better late than never is always good here. Wonderful. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day. What you're missing is basically just me getting weird on a whiteboard with everybody. Aww. Or maybe just screwing the plan and playing with Tiffany for the rest of the time. Oh, she's so cute. Shelley C. Perrin, would you say that she responded to me giving her orders, or am I living at the pleasure of the Tiffany? Do you hate my foot, or do you like my foot? I think she has mixed feelings. That's super cool, Rena. That he had his own dark room in the house to develop stuff. Oh, nice, Shelley. Correct. She sneezes at my my terrible terrible attempt to control her. Fruitless, really. So yeah, that's incredibly cool, Rena, about your grandfather. If those photos in his slide drawers had been original photos, I would have gotten every single one of them digitized. And they were just like artwork I can Google, so it felt strange to keep them all, and I don't know. They're heavy. And these things were hard enough to bring back. So yeah, I wanted to show you how I've been thinking about the shows that I'm developing, and what better place to start than Self-Care Sunday that's coming up in like 2 weeks, a week. Well, I'm just gonna grab my whiteboard over here. Yo, Rena, digitizing is expensive, yo. It's cheaper to order, it's cheaper to put a scanner on your credit card from B&H and return it in 30 days. I would not recommend that or condone that, and definitely haven't done that specific thing. Okay, let's do this. Oh boy. Alrighty, shall we? I see you, Rena. I see you with that emoji. That is the correct emoji. Alright, let's switch it over. And then after this bad boy, I would love to invite anybody who wants to jump onto a phone call that will be live. You can be on video or not. Yeah, that's what we'll do after this. Welcome to Self-Care Sunday. So when I talk about my process, more often than not, you can assume I'm talking about my whiteboard. I love whiteboards, and I live for them, and they live for me. And so yeah, so this is how I've been sort of developing my shows, is basically by making a nice cup of tea, like turning literally every device off, and drawing on my whiteboard. And I think the idea is that I'm just looking to sort of break things up into segments, and have a simple, repeatable process every month. So, you know, I can just like kind of dial in. Every month there's going to be an intro and a welcome where I just say hi, and then like news and announcements, which I think might be too many, and I need to cut those down. And yeah, it's just like one of those things where I'm like trying to get a format down so that eventually when I bring on other people to help me make this a bigger, better, badder show, I can like, yeah, I would just love the idea if like there was a producer who was owning like, you know, different stories in the news and announcements. And I love the idea of having news segments. And I don't know, there's like tons of ideas for different segments that we could do. I think the thing that I'm trying to control for is I have a lot of random ideas. And it can often feel like I'm being torn apart between all these different ideas that are competing for my time. And the goal that I have for both Self-Care Sunday and Focused AF is to make them into containers that can hold a lot of diverse ideas while being specific channels, so that I am not torn apart. I am focused in. And I think it's okay to be focused on like a couple things. I know that there's like a lot of prevailing advice out there that says be focused on one thing. Like Cal Newport has a bunch of books like Deep Work and Be So Good They Can't Ignore You, or So Good They Can't Ignore You. And it's all about just like do one thing and be amazing at that one thing. And basically like get off social media and just be amazing at that one thing. And that is like a little bit stressful for me to think about and to commit to. Patrick, lol. Also, I see you, Shelly, with that Wolf 359 mug. I have like 2 or 3 of them in our cabinet upstairs. So anyway, this is my long-winded way of saying I feel like I've learned a lot sharing with you guys over the last couple of years, and I think I have a long way to go. And like processes like this, which is basically like when I finish a Self-Care Sunday stream, I erase that side of the board and I start it over. And I just work it every month. I have a feeling that I'll start to work with Trevor or somebody to turn these into Google Docs that then can then be shared with the guest. And I want to have a whole process for like when I book somebody that I'm interviewing to send them like a Google Doc that has like, welcome to like, you've agreed to be on Self-Care Sunday. Like, this is what like you need to do. Like, this is what you can expect from me. So on and so forth, just so that like people feel really taken care of, and I'm not having to write the same email over and over and over again. Oh man. So yeah, that is more or less the update. I had a board side, the other side of the board with Focused AF, which was maybe a little bit more involved than this. There was like a whole timeline, but I had to erase it. We're working on I have a freelance gig I'm doing for a client of mine. I'm hosting and producing a technology podcast for Blockstack, and that is now the other side of the whiteboard, which we won't get into. So yeah. Anybody wanna jump into a phone call? Not everyone at once. Yeah, I have no pressure. That means a lot, Sarah. And I think the thing that motivates me the most isn't, I don't know, I got kind of clear that I'm not particularly motivated by making money. And it's incredibly motivating when I get a job that lets me give a job to anybody that I work with on podcasts. So yeah, I think the thing that motivates me most is the potential to learn and to like connect with like y'all and be useful in any way. and I love entertaining. It's super fun and fulfilling for me, and not something that I really had much of a taste of before Wolf 359. So I'm incredibly grateful for all my time on that series, and really proud of what we accomplished with that. I have the Webby Award thing there. Ah, wait. There we go. Now the finger is pointing the right thing. That Post-it note says, my craft, or what is it? My process is my product, is my art. And that's where I'm like trying to make more processes. And I just want to really shout out two particular folks who've been incredibly patient with me as I'm like learning and slowly developing processes so that I am more reliable about going live on time and while also producing the level of show that I want to produce. And that's Rhinosaurus Rex and Alicia Workman. So yeah, I just like really want to shout out the time and attention that you guys have put in to getting the community forum working. And Shelly Seapair, you also have been like a real force in terms of helping me think through some of these things. But yeah, Patrick Pearson, I know you've also put in a lot of time in thinking through this stuff and giving me feedback. So anyway, just like, I love you guys, and I think know that if there's any motivation that comes through the camera to you guys, it comes right back to me. And it is definitely a mutual feeling. Hell yeah. I see a couple of people that would like to jump on a call. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to give you a link. And the thing about this link is just like don't use it or share it, except when we're talking like in this venue. So yeah. So we're going to do this thing. It's zac.fm/hang. That's zac.fm/hang. And I will be in a Zoom room. You might need to download like a little piece of software, but I will be posted up in this room. And as you come in, the people will hear you. And I may or may not switch it over to video. I've got like a screen share set up, but it's always a little jank. So yeah, feel free to jump on in. Leslie C. And Patrick, if you want to join, whoever would like. I think we can hold a fair number of people in there. So I'm going to put this camera down and join you back at the other camera. I'll see you in a moment. And we have our first person. Hello.
Ooh.
Is that you, Patrick?
I'm joining a call thing.
No sweat. Oh boy.
Yeah. I'll sit down. Yeah, headphones.
How's it going, Patrick?
It's going. I've only been up for like 30 minutes. It's fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, it's been an interesting morning over here. Just slowly getting ready to do my kind of first stream out of the real setup. There's a lot of shit. This desk is kind of a mess. I'm deciding if I want to keep the video games on it just so that I could stream games whenever I want, but I think I over-optimize with the N64.
Oh god, do you have it set up so you can stream N64 games?
I happen to have this old thing. It's like a little like input device for like RCA. So I have the technology. I just don't have the original Mario Kart or Smash. I have GoldenEye, and I could play as some character in character, and that might be fun. It's a little bit noisy, Patrick. Would you mind muting until you like are seated and whatever?
Yep, sorry.
No problem. And Leslie, if you want to join in, the the web address is http://zach.fm/hang. And again, this link is exclusively for when we're doing this. I take meetings in it sometimes, so it could be weird, and yeah, just like don't use it other times.
I'm upset there's not a push to talk button for this program.
A who?
Push to talk button, like every other voice chat program I've ever used. I can't just set it so I hit a button.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Weird. Yeah, it's like a push to don't talk button with the mute thing in the side. I've just found this is the most like reliable service in terms of live video chat. But if you know of a better one, I'm always looking.
I mean, it's between this and Google Hangouts or Skype, and the latter two are kind of dying slowly. Google Hangouts is just like horrible lag as of late, and Skype is, I'm pretty sure it's another product Microsoft's about to kill off, because that's what they do.
What, they're about to kill it or sell it? Or?
No, just get rid of it. They're probably going to get rid of it and rebrand it as something else. They do that like frequently, and Skype's just been, they haven't updated Skype in about 3 years. And that's what they did with, they just killed off, I've never owned an iPod. I had a Zune through high school.
That's amazing.
So I've stuck with their music service, and they finally just killed off their music service entirely this year, and went and fully endorsed Spotify. So,
oh man,
yeah,
wow.
I was on that service for almost a decade, and now it's gone.
I will dance on its grave just to spite Gabrielle, but good intuition there, Rena. But also, long live Skype. It was, I think, the first major one.
It was the first major video one I can think of.
Yeah. Sarah Lapointe, whenever you want, you're welcome. Zach.fm/hang. So tell me, Patrick, what are you working on these days? Or no, this is the question that I've been asking, and maybe this is a better question. I don't know.
I mean, today.
Let me actually ask a different question. What are you excited to have your attention on these days?
I'm excited to be able to edit my podcast again, pretty much.
Nice.
Although, to be honest, right now I'm a little bit freaked out because I've been using, I don't know who from Wolf suggested using Pond5. I don't know who runs your guys' that Twitter account there, but they suggested using Pond5. And I'm 95% sure the annoying little tag they put in so you don't steal their audio is now voiced by one of my voice actors, and that's just freaking me out a little bit.
That's so funny.
I sent him an email asking it because I haven't spoken to him in a while.
Oh,
but
man.
like just going through it, I'm like, yeah, that's I'm pretty sure that's him.
Wow,
But,
that's crazy.
Yeah. But I just released a new mini-sode technically last night, but for the public, and then live episode, or the Patreons got it 3 days earlier. Patrons.
Okay.
But I'm just excited to actually be able to work on it again because I've not been able to do that for a while.
Sarah Lapointe, you just go in a web browser to zach.fm/hang, and it'll direct you to a Zoom room, which is a lot like Google Hangout, but just different and more reliable. It may make you install like a little thing, and if you're on a mobile phone, there's an app. That's how you get in. So Patrick, what podcast do you do? And
I do the Haven Chronicles podcast.
Right. Can you explain it for the people who may not know what it is?
Oh, that's my weakness. You've got me at my weakness. I'm horrible at describing it. It's a sci-fi audio drama.
We don't know anything about those over here. We
No. I've actually, most people who have listened to it have described it as a darker version of Wolf, that's a great thing to hear. It's a dark comedy, pretty much is the whole thing. I'm horrible at describing like the actual narrative of the story. It's horrible. I've been working on it for over a year now, and I still can't come up with a good description of it. But,
I noticed Holly and Leslie snuck in. Hello, Holly and Leslie.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, who's who?
I'm Leslie.
This is Holly.
Awesome. Where are you guys calling from?
Brooklyn.
No way! I know that place.
I'm calling from Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, so cool. And Patrick, can you remind us where you're calling from?
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York. That's so great. So 3/4 New York. Interesting. Where in Brooklyn?
Bushwick. That, whole area.
Oh my God. I literally am in your neighborhood.
Are we going to come to find out you guys are neighbors?
Actually, though, that would be crazy. And that's awesome. I love the internet. And Brooklyn's like, I think, I don't know, I used to write it off because it takes so long to get to from the Upper West Side when I lived at my parents' place. But now that I live here, I'm like, why would you go anywhere else?
Yeah, it's so weird how different it is now. I'm a native New Yorker, so I've been here my whole life, so I've seen it change so much over the years, especially recently, and it's hella rad.
That's really cool. Wait, so I'm also a native New Yorker. Where did you grow up? Yeah, seriously. Where I grew up by the Natural History Museum, around 79th Street. The Elephant Room was my second living room. How about yourself?
I grew up in Queens.
Nice. That's funny. Trevor and Rebecca, two people that I've been working with on like podcasting and live streaming stuff, are both in Queens, and they made a play to get me to move there when I was moving across the balcony or across the porch here. Maybe another time. But awesome. I guess, what are you excited to have your attention on these days, Leslie? And then I'd love to ask the same thing of you, Holly. And then Patrick, we'll loop back to the story of editing.
I'm also working on a podcast. I'm in the writing phases of it. Whether or not it ever gets made, I don't know, and I'm not too bothered about it. But I'm really excited just to write it because it's a sci-fi family drama. So I'm really just like super into like character studies and, human interactions and things like that. So that's something I'm diving into, and it's super fun.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
That's so exciting. Have you ever worked in podcasting before? Is this like, have you written fiction before? Like, what's your creative background?
This is my first foray into podcasting, but I've performed in the past. I went to a performing arts high school. So for a while, I thought I was going to be a stage actor, and then that ended up not working out. But I'm enjoying getting back into it after so many years of not being able to perform. So it's nice. I'm just doing it for myself.
Wow, that's so great. And all I can say is, if you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the right reason, and it'll only go well, I think. That's definitely, that's definitely my experience in sort of being on the other side of Wolf. I'm so excited that you'll have to let us know as like things develop. I like through whatever, I don't know, like Twitter or whatever. I'm really excited to hear more. Oh, is that you, Sarah?
Yeah, that's me. Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
welcome. Where are you calling from?
Australia.
Oh my God, that's so cool. It's the other side of the world. What time is it over there right now?
Well, technically it's 3 a.m.-ish, but I was babysitting anyway, and small children wake up in the middle of the night. So.
Oh, it's so great to have you here. Before we, I would love to hear what you're excited to have your attention on these days. Holly, could we hear from you?
Yeah, for sure.
Sound.
I am currently actually an American Sign Language interpreter. I recently finished up all of my classes at college, and so I recently started doing all of my internship this semester. So I've been interpreting now for about 7 months, and it has been a crazy, wild adventure. And it's just been so awesome to finally get to the point where I'm done with school and I am doing what I love, which is just being able to interpret and sign for such a lovely community of deaf people. So that's kind of where my main focus has been this semester, as well as just really pushing into self-care and learning how to take care of myself.
Wow. I don't think I've ever talked to a sign language interpreter, and that is such a cool job. And I don't know, it's really inspiring to hear. It sounds like you're living your dream. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is so cool.
Can you, I'd love to hear like what inspired you to pursue this, and maybe what's something that surprised you in like actually doing it that you didn't necessarily expect.
Yeah, for sure. So when I was in kindergarten, I knew a girl who was deaf. She was in my class, and she was bullied because of it, because she was different and she couldn't speak. And so the whole class bullied her. And then I was born 2 months premature. So I was really small. And so the whole class bullied me because I was so small and I didn't have a lot of control over my movements and stuff. And so we were really just a pair to become friends. And we really just started like sticking up with each other. And I asked her to teach me how to talk to her. And so she told me to learn how to fingerspell, which is just the alphabet in sign language. So I went home and asked my mom to help me figure out how to fingerspell. And so from there on, we just became like really fast friends for a little bit of my childhood. And then unfortunately she had to move away because the bullying had just gotten so bad. So they wanted to put her into a deaf residential school. So I actually lost like almost all of my skills throughout like middle and high school and ended up picking it back up again, just out of sheer like wanting to learn a language, finding it again through like a TV show. And so I just started teaching myself 3 years in high school. I petitioned to get a class in my high school done, and it was not successful. So I decided to go to the only college in Virginia that offers a bachelor's in interpreting, and have started that journey back in 2014, and I'm graduating this May. So it's been a wild ride. And I think the thing that's probably surprised me the most is just how much sheer effort, will, and determination it takes to really just dive into this world and into this community and to learn how to interpret, because your brain is just constantly working in 2 languages when you're on the job. And one of them isn't a language you can hear in your head. One of them is a visual language. So it's almost different than a translator or an interpreter of spoken languages would have. So it's just been, I always tell people that come into the major that if you're not determined and if you're not for certain that this is like what you want to do with your life, then you might not want to continue with it, because it takes so much sheer determination and will to get through our program and to become a successful interpreter throughout the years, because you're just constantly learning. There's so many different dialects within America itself, not alone different sign languages throughout the world. So it's just a wild trip to have been able to go on, but I love it. I really do.
That's remarkable. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing, and I love that story. Wow, that is incredibly inspiring.
Thank you.
Awesome. I guess just to switch gears a little bit, Sarah, I'd love to hear what are you excited to have your attention on these days?
Well, well, I finished high school last year, so I guess I'm really excited about, figuring out what I want to do from now on. I'm just trying to save up enough money to move out and maybe like travel or something, but I definitely want to go into marine biology, studying at JCU, because it's one of the best places to do that, like in the world. And I've already like done so many, I don't know the word. I'm sorry. I just can't believe I'm talking to all of you people. It's just like amazing.
If you think
yeah, I'm really just trying to focus on, sorting myself out before I go for like what I'm, trying to achieve, like what I really want to do. And I guess I really like listening to like your podcast, Focus AF, because it just reminds me to just slow down sometimes, because my life is like lately, it's just really all over the place. So that's cool. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure if that answers your question.
It absolutely does. I mean, it sounds like what you're focused on is what do you want to be focused on? And
That's exactly.
and I can deeply relate with that. I feel like that has been the great gift of producing that show for myself. Marine biology is frickin' awesome. My college girlfriend's mom was like a shark expert, and so like every Shark Week we got to like see her do her thing, and it just like was a window into a world that I'd never really looked into. I feel like you're at the beginning of an adventure that you get to decide and change, and yeah, I don't know, it just sounds like you're at an inflection point in your life, and I just think of the Reese's. This might be cheesy or corny, but like just like there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. There's no wrong way to live your life. So I think it sounds like you have a really cool opportunity in just kind of taking your first bet.
I kind of just a while back when I was in school, there was this program we could do, and I got a taste of what being a marine scientist was like. We went to this resort, well, not resort, research station on Orpheus Island, and it was beautiful. And we got to there was like this nursery of reef sharks, and I used to be terrified of the ocean. I just want you to know, like, this is
I am terrified
I have
of
come
the
so
I'm
far.
currently and have been and will be terrified of the ocean. It's a scary place. I was like somewhere on vacation and like an inner tube, and they're like, "Oh, watch out for the barracudas," and I wouldn't touch the water. It was just like on the inner tube, just like somebody pushed me back to shore.
Oh, like it's so bad though. If you live in Australia and you're afraid of wildlife, you're going to be having a constant struggle. Like,
aren't you supposed to be afraid of the wildlife in Australia? I mean, doesn't everything kill you?
Right.
That's actually just like a little it's sort of something we sort of spread on the internet. Sure, there's lots of dangerous animals here, but we most of them leave you alone if you leave them alone. So you just need to just leave them be and you're fine. But we like to scare tourists. It's funny.
Right, sure. I've heard about the drop bear. Don't fool me.
That's my favorite. I love that one.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're trolls in Australia. We like to like mess with people. I have this friend who came from Finland, and she's still convinced that if she like leaves a shoe out or something, I don't know, that okay, so she'd never seen Australian possums before, and they're like harmless. It's so cute. But one of my other friends convinced her that it was like worse than drop bears. Now she'd bring her shoes in, because we have this thing, we just leave it at, I don't know, everyone does it, I guess, at the front door. But she was paranoid. She had like this biggest shoe collection, and she'd leave it all in the front. It was just so funny. Oh man, so paranoid. Can't. The memory is just coming back.
That's amazing.
Sorry.
That's awesome. So before we wrap up, it just feels incredible to have all of you on the line together. I guess I'd love to just like kind of open up the floor a little bit to, I guess, like, what are questions? What do I want to ask? First, I want to say, welcome, Mitzrayim. I saw you sneaking in the chat, and it's great to have you here. Shout out to Mitzrayim for being one of the first people to talk with Lynn Preston in a series that I'm doing that is not for everyone, and it is, I want to be better at sort of flagging that it is a very like personal set of conversations. I'm doing another one on Monday with Lynn Preston. She's a therapist and does this thing called focusing. And so, yeah, so I'm always looking for volunteers who want to chat with her. There's obviously no cost, and it's just about sort of creating space for intergenerational conversations that make a difference. And I also know that there are some people who just like aren't here for that, and that is like good feedback. And if anybody has any feedback for me, I'm always like hungry for that. So what did I want to say? I guess I'm curious, just like, Man, there's so many things that we could all talk about together, and it's hard to choose. What is a yeah? Please feel free to suggest something. I mean, like there's
I'm just
yeah.
I have sort of just had a question. Like, I was just wondering because I mean, it's so different, like where we all are. Because I can't really believe it. Like, I know objectively. Do you guys really just have like city like everywhere where you live? Like, I mean, I don't know. That's so weird to me. Like, do you guys? I mean, I get you must have like country and like farms and stuff, but like in America, is it just city? Like,
No,
what's it like?
it's
I don't
not
know.
just city. Where I live is like a lot just city, but there's a lot of like farmland and country, and like I love hiking. There's a lot of good outdoor sort of
Yeah.
undeveloped spots.
Yeah.
Like where I'm living right now, I'm living in like a tiny town. I can look out my window and see the Hudson River, and then I look out the other side. It's nothing but mountain and unbuilt land. It just there are a lot of cities and a lot of people live in the cities, but there's a lot of nothing too.
Yeah, for sure. Because, like, I know I live in Virginia, which is, like, about as diverse as you can get. We have mountains, we have the ocean, we have pure city, and we have nothing but countryside. And so I've really had the opportunity to grow up in absolute nothing but farmland, have no stoplights in my town, highest Amish population in Virginia kind of town growing up. And then moving to somewhere in the mountains to go to college. And now I live in, like, one of the bigger cities in Virginia. So it's pretty diverse.
That's actually that's really cool because I don't know. I mean, the way when you look at like different countries, it's like the whole place is just got like a whole different personality, even like all the wildlife. And I always find that really interesting, and I just and how that affects like how people sort of are and just living their lives, and I don't know. I find that interesting.
Rena and she chimed in with just it is very built up on the coasts, and you should see the plains in the sort of in the middle of the country. And Alicia says not much city in Arkansas. So yeah, I think it's incredibly diverse. I guess so. Yeah, so I have two buckets of questions. One of them is what other questions you guys have for each other, because this is so cool and feels like such an awesome opportunity to just like connect people. And then the second bucket of questions I'll ask after that. Maybe we'll do like.
How hard is it to learn sign language?
Oh, great question.
That is a really good question. There's like a difference there's like different levels of it. So to become an interpreter, you have to be as near fluent as a hearing person can be, because you can never become truly fluent, we believe, because unless you're born deaf or in the deaf community, it's really hard to become fully fluent. But for myself, I have to be as like near fluent as I can because I'm in that world every single day and I'm becoming people's voices, and I have to match their intonation, their message, their point of like what they want to say and not have any of my feelings interact. So it's like you really have to know what the person is trying to say so you can voice for them, but then you also have to know how to adequately produce something in sign language so the deaf person can understand the other person's side of things as well. But as far as like just learning conversationally, like if you were to meet a deaf person on the street and be able to hold a conversation with them, I would say I would encourage everyone here and in all of the world, honestly, to take like classes if you can find them. Or there's a website called LifePrint, LIFEPRINT.com. And they have like free lessons for people to learn ASL with. And I know as far as Australia goes, they have Auslan down there, not ASL. And I know like a handful of signs from Auslan, so I don't know how hard it would be to learn Australian Sign Language. But as far as like conversationally in ASL, I would say it would probably take you probably about a year to feel comfortable talking to someone conversationally.
Huh. Yeah, I learned a little bit in primary school, but most of it is like gone, and plus they like update it so much. So it's,
Right.
Yeah.
This site looks amazing.
It's really awesome, and I would really encourage you all. I know they have like like one tab is like your 100 first signs to learn, and it's like really basic stuff like family members and food and like how to ask really common questions. But they also have like a breakdown of lessons, and it's all free, so it's a really awesome resource.
Well, I'll definitely be checking that out later.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got I'm just putting it into the screen share now. Everything's freezing. Uh-oh.
Man, I normally do not like websites laid out like this, but this website's actually the only one I've ever seen that's pulled this off.
Anybody else have any questions for anybody else?
I don't know.
What was the name of your podcast again, Patrick? I didn't have a chance to write it down earlier.
Oh, The Haven Chronicles. You can find
Wait,
it at thehavenchronicles.com or havenchronicles.com or anywhere.
A Darker
Podcast
Wolf
is-
359.
I feel like
I
I've
am
heard of
definitely
that
going to
somewhere
check it
before.
out.
There's a chance you've heard about it because I like to scream about it whenever I get the chance.
Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Tumblr.
I think I'm following you.
probably.
I think I'm already following you.
I wouldn't. I get retweeted by a bunch of big or bigger podcasts all the time. Yet I only have like less than 400 followers.
You're going to have one more by the end of the day.
Make that 2.
Yeah. Honestly, though, it's so cool that I just got to talk with all of you. Like, I seriously love connecting with new people, and like you too, Zach. Like, seriously, you guys are all awesome. Yeah, it's just like, I feel blessed.
I feel the same way.
Definitely agree with that statement for sure.
I 100% agree with that statement as well. I guess before we wrap up, so I guess my last question for y'all is, I'm curious, like, is there anything that you've sort of like experienced on this channel, on Self Care Sunday, on Focused AF? Like, I'm curious if there's like a highlight and a low light in terms of like something that you wish I did more of and something that like maybe you wish I never did again or did really infrequently. I would love that feedback. And it looks like my computer may explode because I tried to do this screen share thing. So I think we'll end with that.
I was going to say the thing that always comes to my mind immediately is the episode. I think it was a Focus where you just talked about like all the equipment and stuff you had. You were doing like all the podcast talk, nerdy stuff.
Right.
And that's the one I love. I am a nerd for that stuff, and I don't feel like there's many places to find that nerdy stuff.
Sure. So like really in-depth sort of like tech behind the scenes, like how to podcast stuff.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Okay, great.
I really like the one where you what was it? You do the live ones where you like go jogging and you're talking about your day as it's happening. I really like that. And when you're like talking to people and on the street, or I just find that really cool. You know, it's like inside sort of you and what your like everyday life is like, and that's pretty cool. Like it's like we'd experience it with you. You know.
I love that you're saying that, and that's been the hardest thing about going to every other week instead of every day is I have so many conversations that I like randomly record. It's easier for me to think about what would make a good show every day, even if it wouldn't be a great show every day, in a way that like every 2 weeks I feel like it has to be a great show, and I just don't think I've cracked the code yet, but
You could do like mini episodes on like the Patreon or something, or I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like a little bit like I can't guarantee that I don't want to make. I feel like I've been bad at over promising and under delivering, so I'm trying to get better at under promising and over delivering. So like, I just want to do something that I can guarantee for like a couple months to feel strong, and then maybe experiment with doing things more frequently. But
Cool.
I've been thinking about that. Yeah, I appreciate. I'm glad to know that you would be here for that if I wanted to do that every day, and I do want to do it every day. So just we'll figure it out. It's like a goal of mine to get back to
Sweet.
that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would say one of the highlights of following you on this journey has definitely been like the everyday focus at work was one of my favorite things. And then as well as all of the calm.af stuff that you've done, because I feel like when you first started doing focus.af last year, I was in one of the most hellacious periods of uni that I could possibly be in. And as far as our program goes, and it was like the first opportunity I really had to really learn how to focus on myself and to learn how to take care of myself. And so it was a really big launch point for me to start learning like how to meditate, you know, how exercise is actually like pretty decent for your body and it does help your mood. And like just learning how to like kind of take care of myself better has really been the coolest thing that's come out of it. So I would definitely say like all of the calm.af stuff has.
I'm thrilled to hear that, and that is definitely something that I'm trying to do more of. I think I'm gonna, like, maybe not this month, but like at some point in the next like 3 months, I have a vision of doing like a daily Calm AF thing. Just like making it part of my morning ritual, just to like wake up, record a meditation, like listen to it to make sure the timing is okay, and then like do my day. But yeah, that's awesome to hear that was something you liked.
Yeah, I agree with Holly. That was actually like really helpful too.
Amazing. I guess anything that like isn't great or like, I don't know, just like I'm curious if there's anything that's like meh. I'd be grateful to hear anything, even if it's like something that you don't hate, but I don't know, like no pressure, but also I'm just curious to hear.
I feel like there's some things, but like I just can't think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, I feel like God, I'm pulling a blank. The therapist you have on every now and then, like that's not. I don't not like it, but I feel like that's a weird thing to have live streamed at the same time. Like I feel like that's some weird like opening up for a can of worms type deal at the same time. I don't know. It's the only thing I feel like really that's just weird to me and like meh.
I don't mind it, but what actually used to really get me is when you'd stay up till like really late editing,
Working
and I'd
on
just
stuff.
be like, "It's okay if you leave it till tomorrow." Just like,
Right, and that was the problem with daily. Was it just like if it didn't get done, it never would have gotten done. And yeah, I think it just like that's why I'm not doing it right now, is because it's totally unsustainable and irresponsible. And I miss it and would love for it to be my full-time job, but that's just like I'm not there yet, and maybe that'll be something that we get back to. But until then, I'm looking at being in the long haul of this life and not trying to just like, I don't know. I just don't want to burn out in my like 20s and 30s. Because I just like look at somebody like Mr. Rogers and I see how impactful and like creative and productive he was into his later years. And I just like, it reminds me to slow down and just like do what I can and do it as well as I can and build incrementally.
Yeah, it's just make sure to stay on the path of Mr. Rogers and don't go the path of, I don't know, who's a corporate sellout?
I think it's less a corporate sellout and more like, I don't know, like, you know, the 27 Club. Like, it wasn't lost on me when I made it to 28 that I escaped a curse.
Yeah.
That is like a popular culture thing. Just like, what's his name? James Dean and like all those like celebrities who die at 27.
Didn't they also all have a white lighter in your pocket? That's the big thing.
Yeah, right. I'm sure that's part of it. And like I'm just like not trying to like, oh man, like Avicii passed away the other day, and I'm not a big dance music person, but my freshman year roommate was a DJ, and just hearing that like it was like a really sobering like, right, this is like there's no guarantees, play safe, and yeah, not to get too serious or intense, but I just like I really like it here, and I think it's like it makes me feel good about waking up in the morning that like I can work to leave the room brighter than I came into it, and it's just like so wonderful to get to have playmates and sort of internet family like y'all.
Okay, I'm feeling like really super young right now. I don't know. Who's Mr. Rogers? I totally missed that reference.
No
and I'm
problem.
Like...
It's a very American reference. Gabrielle Urbina had no fucking idea who this guy was. Excuse my French.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I can't even imagine not knowing who Mr. Rogers is.
I know, but it's like it's a thing.
Mind-boggling.
Hey, there's lots of things I'm sure you don't know about in Australia, eh?
Right. I guarantee that's true. Mr. Rogers is a public broadcasting figure. He produced a show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He produced a couple shows, but he's most known for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where he was the host of it. It's a kids show, and basically he was funded by tax dollars and produced stuff that was so good that it, I think, inspired the generations that grew up with him, and he actually single-handedly made a case to keep funding in the public television system that kept his show alive. Like, he's just like an amazing figure in American media, and I think one of the best men.
Wait, I think I know who you're talking about now. Didn't you guys? Was it you or
I put him
someone
in
else
the
who
most
posted
recent
something
Focus
on
Day
Twitter
after?
about
Yeah,
that?
I've been posting about him more and more because I've been like reading his books and just like thinking about
You're
him
missing
and
the part where the man's a freaking saint too.
he's just a good person. He like dealt with really big topics like racism and death and divorce and all of this stuff on his kid show with puppets, and like, you know, he was just an incredible advocate for love and acceptance and like creativity in the universe. So he's a huge inspiration, and I feel like I'm like learning from him even though I'll never meet him. So yeah,
That sounds pretty cool.
I'm really happy about it.
Like one of the like purest people in the world. I mean, he got was it an Emmy or something like that, where he got up on stage and he asked people to be he asked for 30 seconds of silence for everyone who couldn't be there because they passed away or whatever. Like he was
Right, everyone, like he's like everybody is not like basically an island, and we're all part of a larger thing, and so I'm here, like he, you know, when he accepted his award, he was just like, I'm here because of so many people. Oh my God, Tiffy's doing a dangerous thing. She loves it up there by the window. But anyway, yeah, that's a good moment, Patrick. All right, everybody. I would love to do this all day long. Unfortunately, I have to go do some other things. But I love you, and this is just so great. I can't wait to do this again next month.
Yes.
I would switch the camera to Tiffy, but my program is totally dead. Except it's still streaming, but it's like I can't touch it. So anyway, until next time. If you're on the Zoom call and can't see because there's the lag, I'm doing heart hands. Just keep on keeping on, everybody. I'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Zach. Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.